What's up, people, and welcome to the Daily Updates channel. So this is going to be a low friction, low editing channel. Really what I'm going to do is go through questions every single day and answer questions that you guys are putting inside my free school community, right? The Acquired Accelerator, where really we're just teaching how you as an agency owner can sign more clients with the use of AI, right? AI is the big trend right now. And if you're not using it in your lead gen, you're 100% missing out. I know lead gen is probably the biggest single pain point for every agency owner ever. Just a quick bit about me if you don't know who I am. My name's Harry. I run a B2B lead gen agency called Acquired. Scaled it to 100K a month and now teaching others how to do the same. So let's get into some of these questions. I asked everyone who's part of the community to ask a question and I'll get through and answer it personally. Like I say, if you want to have the next video answering your question, join my school community. The link is in the description and ask away. So I'm just going to go through and answer these 3 questions I have here today, and then we'll save the rest for the video tomorrow or whenever that is. So the first question we have from Sayali is, hey Harry, is there a way to use AI to get alerts on which companies are hiring job postings so we can target leads effectively? Very, very good question, right? And firstly, before I answer that, I also want to explain the importance of this. This is called a trigger, right? So in outbound, to get the most success, you need to usually be looking at some sort of trigger that will indicate a company has a need for your service. If you're a recruitment agency, you want to find companies that are hiring or have just had someone leave and they need a replacement. This indicates that this company is actually more of a fit for your service than just any random company you can scrape off like Apollo on LinkedIn, right? So finding triggers is a great way to start your outbound campaigns. So the way I would usually do this is using a tool called clay.com. Clay will help you actually get alerts on which companies are hiring. Not only will you get alerts, but you can also just do searches. You can also do it on Apollo. You can do it on many of these databases, but I recommend using Clay, and you can find the companies that are hiring, what jobs they've posted, and then potentially find the hiring manager or the CEO or the founder of that company, and then reach out to them with a personalized message about that actual job posting, right? So Clay would be the number one way to do that. If you want specific alerts or like specific job boards, then you probably need to build something a bit more custom, maybe go to Upwork or Fiverr, find a dev to do that for you. But most of it's already out there. If you want to scrape LinkedIn, Indeed, Google Jobs, all of these things, I would personally go to Clay. And if there's a custom job board that you want to scrape just manually and you don't want to pay a developer to do it, then you can use a Chrome extension called Instant Data Scraper. If I get this up, Chrome extension, this one here, and you can download this, add it to your Chrome. I'm on Safari browser right now. Add it to your Chrome, and you can scrape any website. Right, this is incredible and it's free. This is an absolute game changer, right? So that's what I would personally do there. So yeah, personally, I would opt for Clay. If you're not currently using Clay, use Clay, right? Rudolph, hey Harry. So I keep bumping into small hurdles to save time. I bought leads from a company, so I have over 100,000 business emails, but they came without the emails and contact person. Do you know if there are some verified way to find some software that can fill in the gaps? Okay, so this really depends where you're getting the leads from. There's 2 main data sources that exist in general, and every database will be built off these 2 main data sources. You either have LinkedIn, which is like Apollo, ZoomInfo, Phantom Buster, all of these things. Phantom Buster can scrape either, but you have like corporate email databases. Basically all the ones like Apollo, all the competitors to Apollo, all the ones you usually find on Clay. These basically scrape LinkedIn, and these will very likely find the business emails. It's unlikely you won't find it, so I assume you haven't used that method. The other main data source that people scrape from is Google Maps. I'm assuming you've scraped from Google Maps. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rudolph, you could put it in the comments, but I'm assuming you've scraped in one way or another from Google Maps. If that's the case, then I would use Outscraper to redo this if you haven't already done it, and that should give you about half your contacts with a first name and email. If you just have the domain from Google Maps, then you can use any mail finder to actually fill in the gaps and find all the emails at that domain. So it's called any mail finder, just here. And you can bulk upload domains, right? Bulk search domains, and you can find emails at these companies. You could also upload it into Clay, but Clay usually finds stuff through LinkedIn. So if this is like more of a blue collar market, you're probably not going to find all the things you want through LinkedIn. It's probably going to be through Google Maps. But that's one option, would be to use any mail finder or use Clay to plug in the gaps. You sort of need to see which which data source you're using, if it's LinkedIn or Google Maps. If it's Google Maps, then I would opt with any mail finder and enrich through that way, or use Clay to go on the website and try and pull emails from the website. If it's the LinkedIn is the main data source, like you're pulling from Apollo, you should already have this anyway. And if you don't, I would just build a new list on Apollo. Hopefully that helps. I think the main problem you have right now is you have a bunch of domains, but you don't have any contacts and people. I would use any mail finder to find the emails from those domains. Hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have any more technical questions and I can go over it again. Hey Harry, in your opinion, what is the best guaranteed offer that clients will accept for a complete beginner to the field of lead gen? Now, I look at this a slightly different way. I wouldn't actually go with a best guarantee because you're probably not going to fulfill on it if you're a complete beginner. What I personally would do is just do a pay on performance basis. Yes, it's great to have cash in the bank and maybe some gurus will tell you differently, but this will bite you in the ass. If you're a complete beginner and you're offering big guarantees, it will bite you in the ass, right? It's very unlikely that it doesn't because you need time to learn this skill as well. And you should see this initial phase as setting the foundations in order to scale. You are not going to be making the biggest amount of money you've ever made in your life at the beginning. That's never how it works. But what we want to do is set the foundation so we can exponentially scale and win off compounding results. Okay, so I wouldn't actually go over guarantee in full transparency with you. I would do a pay on performance basis. So either charge X amount per booked call. Usually B2B clients will pay anywhere from $200 to $500 per booked qualified sales call. Or you can do a percentage commission based on when they close the client. I wouldn't recommend that because you have no control over the sales process unless you're running the sales as well. But I think a pay per booked call, maybe with a small setup fee if they can agree to it, is the best way to do that if you're a beginner. Also, just make sure your own system works. This might seem like really basic, but if you can't even book sales calls for yourself, how do you expect to do it for a client? I knew that my system would work because I was booking a crazy amount of sales calls for myself before I even realized, this is what I should probably be selling to my clients about 3 years ago, right? So make sure it's actually working for yourself first. If it's working for yourself in a specific niche with a specific messaging, see how much you can use of that to the client, how much you can sort of transfer over. But yeah, in like brutal transparency and honesty, I wouldn't do a guarantee, money back guarantee. I would do a pay on performance basis if this is your first sort of time doing this, because I just don't think it went well for you. Cool. Those are the questions for the post. Let's see if we just got some other ones here. How much would you sell a baby solution to a company that they can do their own lead scraping for? Say 1,000 at a time, no technology needed, just punch in criteria. With anything you want to sell based off outcomes, like how much time is this going to save people and what are the other options in the market, I would say something like this you can probably use as sort of like a lead magnet. In all honesty, you can sell it low ticket. Let's say per 1,000 leads, you can scrape that on Apify and you can set up an automation to do that for like, let's say all in all $2 per 1,000 leads. Maybe sell it at $10 per 1,000 leads. It's still very, very cheap for them. You make a tiny bit of money, but what this actually does, your goal here, once again, isn't to make money. It's a lead magnet to find whoever buys that is then probably a qualified buyer in terms of actually needing a proper lead gen solution. My guess is if they're asking you to help with their data scraping, their lead scraping, and they need more leads, it's because their lead gen isn't working. And maybe they're not ready to commit high ticket to someone just yet, like a full commitment. But if you are able to help solve that problem step by step, you're going to get closer to be able to pitch the big thing. So I would say, yeah, firstly charge off the benefit for them. How much is this data actually worth to them? How much time can it save them, etc.? Charge off that. But at the end of the day, stuff like this is very, very commoditized. You're not going to be able to sell it for much money because it's an abundance of it on the market. It's just a pure commodity. So I would use this to sell low ticket, but find those people who are qualified buyers who are actually in need of lead gen, and then just work on trying to get them on free consultation calls, AI strategy sessions, and upsell them onto a higher ticket package. That's personally what I'd recommend. So that's all the questions I have in the Skool community for today. Like I say, please join the Skool community if you haven't already and fire away questions. I'm going to be going over every day, Nick Sarev style, and answering all the questions that you have. And let's build this together. I know client acquisition is so hard for agency owners, so I want to be on a mission to change that and spread as much knowledge as possible. So thanks for watching this video. I shall see you all soon. Bye-bye.